Okay, so here we are. This is the third day that I'm talking about the applications for my new 6-week Rockstar Mentorship. So far, the results have been unbelievable. I've gotten tons of people that have raised their hands. A bunch of people have been through the applications, and even more have turned around and booked the discovery call. So I'm taking calls through the start of this mentorship, and we're going to go through that today. But I'm closing applications in 48 hours. So you have 2 days left to apply for this. Now, I'm only looking between 10 and 15 people. I feel like 15 might be pushing it, but we'll see how it goes depending on how many we want to accept. But even if you don't get chosen for this round, I will be doing other rounds in the future. So definitely still apply. Don't think that, oh man, so many people have applied and there's no way I'm getting in on this round. It's very possible that we could just push you in at a later version of this. So all that being said, I've been getting a bunch of questions from people, and I want to go through some of the more common ones. Okay, so let's answer some questions about this. So going through this PowerPoint here, I set up a bunch of questions that I've been getting frequently. So when does this start? Monday, September 19th is when I'm looking to start. Again, 10 to 15 founding members. It's going to be a 6-week program. I've been using this method to teach, of course, all through I was in college. That's how I developed it. But then I honed it for the next, almost 30 years of teaching private students under this method. So intense, but worthwhile thing to go through. So hope you're ready for that. Who is it for? It's designed for people who try drum lessons, books, courses, videos on YouTube, and still haven't been able to get the results that they've been looking for, that professional level or that freedom of expression, or just being able to feel confident behind the drums, that rock star mentality. That's what I'm looking to find here for each of you. What's included? Now, this is obviously the most important thing, right? So the biggest main thing that we're talking about here is the 6 weeks of daily training. So I'm looking to do Monday through Friday. It's going to be one session a day. You'll have the weekends off, but I'll have assignments for you to go through on the weekends as well. And I value that at $4,500 just because I'm looking at it from the standpoint of if I was to teach one private lesson every day for 6 weeks, that's around what it would come up to, $4,500. So it's pretty awesome to get like daily training like that. The challenge follows these steps. So learn it. We're going to study and learn what these things are that are really important to focus on. Then we're going to practice it. Then we're going to work together to practice it. And for this, we're going to talk about the app in a little bit. And then we're going to talk about applying it, how we actually take this and move it to the drums. And I'm going to have all kinds of exercises for you guys to apply it in addition to just knowing it. So this is going to be the kind of thing where it's like I teach you a bunch of lessons and that's the end of it. I'm going to take you through this entire path. That's what I found has been very effective for students, and that's what I expect from you. I call this the path. This is the system I used to put myself through those tough years in college, overcoming all those obstacles and rising to that professional level. Bonus number 1 over here. I call it bonus number 1, but weekly accountability calls. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. It's going to vary depending on the level. I might just do one large call depending on how many students there are in there, or I might separate it into groups because of different levels. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But basically, everybody needs some individual attention. So in these calls, I'll be able to hear and take questions directly from each person individually in a separate setting. This way, we don't waste too much time during the actual lessons doing that kind of thing. So this is going to be more of like a interaction where you could turn around and ask me your questions in that setting. Okay, bonus number 2. We have 1 year access to the Study the Drums app. This is my new app. And basically, this is all the videos and all the practice routines that are on the current drummersalmanac.com membership area. This is my Path membership. And all the guys that are through that know that it's all about pretty much like personal training on drums. It's this, I take you through the practice. It's not just the idea of you learning a lesson and then going home and practicing it. You actually dial in and do the routines with me at all different tempos. So it really holds you accountable to staying on top of your practice. The other thing that's good about it is all the routines are timed and measured. So they're to a click, they're timed, they're measured, you know exactly how long you're going to be there. That makes going through this stuff very efficient. So you could do more in a 45-minute session than you could in a 3-hour session, just kind of meandering around with your practice. So the app is incredible for helping to keep your focus. And again, that's 1 year of membership to the app included with this training. Of course, if you want to continue after that, that's something you could do. Okay, let's talk about bonus number 3. Access to my closed TDA community group. Right now that's on Facebook. We might keep it on Facebook depending on where the app is at, but there's also going to be a community section in the app. So I would love to move everyone from Facebook to the app and then have the community there. But we'll see how that works out. But either way, it's a closed group that I have on my Facebook, and you could start seeing some of my other members that are running through the app. Right now it's on the website, but they're keeping track and keeping diaries and logs of their practice routine. And this is something I'm going to make you guys do as well. You're going to keep a journal of your practice routine, and we're going to be accountable to that every day. So that's going to be exciting. Bonus number 4, video feedback. This is something, again, that's built into the website and will be built into the app. This is the kind of thing where I have a sheet you could print out and it shows you exactly, or gives you examples of things that you have to demonstrate. You have to record that on video and then you send it to me. I have a whole process for just submitting it. You submit it to me, I will look at it and react to it. Kind of like if you ever saw those Drum Teacher Reacts videos, except I'll be gearing it towards you're playing and what I think you need to be working on. And it's a good chance for me to really get into your technique one-on-one. And then, of course, you have that video and you can watch it as many times as you want. This is also ongoing. So as long as you're part of the Drummer's Almanac or the Study the Drums app when it comes out, you have access to video feedback. So every few months, if it's something you want to do, I encourage you to use that. Really, really powerful tool. Okay, bonus number 5, access to my weekly drummer hang. This is cool. This is a little bit more laid back. Sometimes we bring in other teachers. Sometimes it's just a group of drummers talking about drums, talking about where they are. And again, it's not so much of a, accountability call. It's more of just like talking about where everyone is in their playing and what their goals are, what they're doing. Sometimes, like I said, if I bring in another teacher, it's getting insight from them. So that's a very, very cool thing, and you'll have access to that. Let's talk about price. I'm sure everyone's wondering, how much is this thing going to cost me? Now, again, this is an investment. Think of it like you're taking a class. So there is a tuition. This is not free. And here's why. Part of the reason is when you do something and you do it for free, like a YouTube video or something like that, how often do you take action on those things? Things that are handed to you, most people don't see as valuable, so they don't necessarily take as much action as they normally have. However, if they invest their time or they invest their money or they invest their time and their money, they're more likely to take action and make change. And on top of that, this is going to take a ton of my time. So my time is not free. So I'm going to, expect to be paid for my time as well. Now, it's not going to be as much as I eventually would like it to be, because this is going to be the first version of this. I call it, a friend of mine had a great analogy. It's like the first pancake. The first pancake never comes out great. You're still trying to figure out the right temperature and all that stuff to dial it in. Or like the same reason why Broadway shows have like previews, right? The previews are just trying to kind of knock the dust off a little bit and really hone the system. So this is kind of like our first pancake. And for that, I'm going to be reducing the price. But when this is all done, I plan on launching this for $19.97. So it's going to be a $2,000 program. Okay? Again, because that gives you access to me. That gives you access to 6 weeks of training. Very intense. So this would be like my flagship teaching product, basically. It's going to pretty much replace my private lessons. I'm going to really try to deter people from trying to study with me privately, and I'm going to push them to this. But for this initial round, since founding members are helping me develop the mentorship, I'm discounting it 70%. So I'm just going to be asking for $597. So that's 70% off what I intend to sell this at once it's all done. But again, it's an investment. This is something that's going to help you change where you are in your playing. So you have to weigh out if that investment in yourself is worth it. You might be asking, what if I don't have the time to practice? I get this a lot. I don't have time. So here's the secret. Everyone has a busy life, not just you. No one has the time to practice. I'm going to show you how to make the time to practice. Making the time is what's important. And that's what you should be focused on. With the right system, I explained before, what could take you 3 hours, we could probably knock out in 45 minutes, since you have things like the app and accountability from everybody else in the group really pushing you. It's all about focus. It's about knowing what you do before you sit down to do it. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do. You might be asking, what if I don't have the gear? And I've seen this a couple of times. A couple of people said, I don't have a drum set, or I don't have access to a drum set. All you really need is a pair of drumsticks and a pad. That's going to be the most important stuff. Most of the technique that we're going to be talking about can be done on the pad. Can it be moved to the drum set? Absolutely. Will there be times where we go into coordination? Yes, that's going to happen too. But coordination can really be done on anything, any kind of a practice pad situation. I'm going to show you how to do that if you don't have a drum set. But in general, everyone should have a low volume version of their kit that they can practice on, especially if you're in an apartment or you're going to be disturbing other people. Not everyone has a soundproof situation, right? So that's something to keep in mind. That to start, the only thing you're going to need is a pair of sticks and a pad. Okay, you might be asking, I'm not sure if remote coaching is right for me. The fact that I'm not in the room with you. I can tell you right now that I've been doing this since 2015. I moved down to Georgia from New York. In New York, I was 100% in person with my students. They would all come to me. I didn't even have it set up to go online. 2015, I moved to Georgia. Most of my students were in New York, and they started with me remote. And then I started taking students from all over the world. So I've been remote this whole time. And I've moved in Georgia. I moved 4 times in Georgia, and now I just moved to Baltimore. So I'm always moving. So my studio keeps on getting torn down and rebuilt. So I'm all set up to go remote, basically, is what it goes down. And I found that remote is great. Sometimes when a person's in here with me personally, they leave, they go home, and it's like that whole experience was great when they were here, but once they go home, it's gone. So all of this interaction is going to be recorded, and it's going to be something that you're going to be able to look back at and take over and over again. So as long as you have a good, solid internet connection, that's really all you need to take part in this. We're also going to be taking students from all over the world, so there's going to be time zone issues. So at times where I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to go on, we're going to launch this lesson at this time, might not coincide with where you are. If that's the case and you absolutely can't make it, I'm going to take those lessons and get them prepared, and they'll be uploaded either to the app or to a website where you can access them. So everyone will have time to go through that, and if you can't do it live, you could still hit me up when we do our accountability calls. So there'll be time to get in there. Okay, so that's pretty much all my questions. Okay, so next steps. If you haven't grabbed your slot yet, definitely sign up with the application. And the way to do that is comment "practice with purpose" down below, and I will send you a link to the application, either in your DMs. If it's on YouTube that you're watching this, it'll be up in the description of the video. Click on that link and you'll get an application, and that'll get you started with this whole thing. Again, there's a lot of applications outstanding right now, and a lot of people are taking up on my calls. I'm only taking calls up until, I think, the 15th is the last day I cut off calls. But even if you apply and you don't make it into this round, I'll be able to put you on a later round, hopefully. So that's something that if this thing works out, it's only going to get better as time goes on. Can't guarantee that we're going to keep the price the same, but it's one of those things that we'll figure that out as it comes up. So definitely apply either way if it's something that you think you need. Now, for those of you that might be on the fence about this, oh man, it's expensive, or I don't have the time, or I'm too old. I've gotten that a bunch of times. Age is a number. Transformation doesn't go away because you got older. Transformation happens because you take action. To really get change, you have to do something different. All right? So it sometimes requires investment, either in money or in time or whatever, or both. But don't be afraid to try something different. Money you could always get back, time you can't. So keep that in mind. Once again, comment "practice with purpose" down below. You got 48 hours left to apply. Thanks.